were born for this. Game time, frame of mind got you on defense. I can't wait, no breaks, never on the fence. Cause every shot you don't take, you are going to miss. It's time to hit the grind. I must admit we fit to shine. You versus me should be a penalty, so be concerned if you are defending me. You won't find you a better team, fulfilling all the dreams that you ever dreamed. We'll never leave. We're not just the best, but the best that you ever seen.
Yes, we're here at Cumberwell Park. Beautiful scenes behind me, beautiful weather, beautiful views. Not just you, the course as well. There we go, Kit. Third event of the PGA EuroPro Tour, so it's great to be here and back. But before we start talking about the course and its features, let's talk a little bit about last week. Emotional victory there for Conor O'Neill, wasn't it?
Yeah, an absolute tearjerker. He's been through the ringer, he and his family, over the last 18 months. If you're unfamiliar with the story, his father and his uncle committed suicide during the pandemic. So the fact that Conor's got the mental resolve to even be out here playing at all right now, let alone contending and winning, is absolutely huge. He told me afterwards he just wanted to put a smile on his family's faces because they hadn't been smiling a lot lately, and understandably so. And I think he did that, and hopefully there were big celebrations when he got back to Scotland because he and his family fully deserve it.
I'm sure, and he'll be here contending, won't he, at Cumberwell?
Absolutely, hopefully he can build on that momentum this week as well. We've got an absolutely stacked field full of former Walker Cup players, former European Tour winners, so he's going to have plenty of competition again this week. 156
players, may I add. Any you got your eye on?
Yeah, I think John Parry's one of those former European Tour winners. He's showed incredible consistency over the last couple of years on this tour, just missing the win. He said he's been starting a little bit slowly, then coming into the tournament. If he can make a fast start, he will not go anywhere and he will be there or thereabouts. The former Walker Cuppers as well, guys like Tom Sloman, Tom Plum, Ben Jones as well, who've all shown pedigree in the amateur game. Can they convert that into a good pro career?
Here as well. So it's the 7th visit here at Cumberwell Park. What are the expectations of the course then?
Well, it's a stunning venue, and I think the guys turn up knowing there are birdie and eagle opportunities. 17 under and 16 under has been the winning total the last 3 years, twice 17 under. And especially around the turn, the 10th is a drivable par 4, 11 and 12 are par 5s. You can see players making really big moves at that stage in the round. And the facilities here are absolutely sensational as well. A wonderful short game area, a little par 3 course that's absolutely gorgeous, a lovely driving range. So the players know they can get their game in tip-top condition for when they get to that first tee.
And it's well known for its playoffs, isn't it, competing here? Tell me a bit about that.
Yeah, so 3 of the previous 6 events have gone to sudden death playoffs. We're always guaranteed drama. I think because you've got those opportunities to make eagles and birdies, but also here, if you do hit a bad shot, you are punished. The rough is thick, the greens are quick and slopey. So it's a volatile golf course, and that often gives us plenty of drama and excitement coming down the stretch.
Well, thank you very much, Kit. We look forward for another exciting week here at Cumberwell Park.
I'm afraid last week's winner, Conor O'Neill, missed the cut. But another Scot has risen to the top. Callum Fife is the 36-hole leader, 2 clear of Kit's tip, John Parry. And talking of Kit, he's getting soaked down on the first fairway.
Callum Fife is safely away off of the first hole. He's found the left-hand side of the fairway and he's got 159 yards left to a pin that looks very accessible there. Just a word on the weather. I don't know what it looks like on the screens, but it feels pretty disgusting out in it. The rain is coming down reasonably hard. There is a bit of blustery wind up there as well. Scoring not likely to be as good in this final round as it has been earlier in the week if it stays this way.
With me is Gary Allis, and lo and behold, it's nice and dry in the commentary box.
It is. I'm rather pleased to be here with you, Phil, and battling out with these boys as we have a look at Callum Fife now, playing his second shot on this first hole. Yep, nicely on line and safely aboard the green.
Also in the last group out, Jamie Rutherford, who's had a very encouraging start to the season. 12th at Harleford, tied 9th at Donington Grove, and looking for something a little better here. And that's a very encouraging start indeed.
John Parry sneaking out from under the trees, as you can see, gripping well down on a fairly lofted club. Punching it up there just off the edge of the green.
Now, just a while ago, Sean Towndrow began with a birdie, but he's run into all kinds of trouble on the second. And now he's got that for a double bogey.
Back to Parry on the first, whose golf ball did just sneak onto the front of the green. Long range effort up and over the saddle. And Phil, you can see the wetness on the green is going to cause a few problems, make the putts much slower than earlier this week.
Towndrow. Oh dear me. It's all the sevens. A triple bogey 7, relegated to -7. And that rain for him seems to be pelting down even more now. Miserable.
Yes, it is. You can hear it in the background. It really is splish-sploshing down as Callum Fife takes a run at this one. He'll be quite happy. Safely negotiate the first, get his round underway with a par.
Now this is an effervescent character, Joe Brooks from Hanbury Manor. Started with a couple of pars.
Well, only just off the edge of the green. It's an inviting par 3, this third hole, but not an easy green to find. So can John Parry, as you can see, he's got this just about 6 feet inside the hole, firm. Yes, very good. Great putter, John Parry, holds out very well. I'm always very impressed with his ability to pop the ball into the cup.
Now can Rutherford make the ideal introduction to the round? Yes, he can. Increasing the chances of that maiden win for him up to 11 under par.
Third hole, Joe Brooks here, as you can see, just on the little bit of bare ground where people walk by the edge of this green. Will it come on smoothly? It's running well. Running very well. Oh yes, what a good putt for Brooks. His birdie takes him to 10 under.
Rutherford's birdie out of the gate sees the 29-year-old from Nebworth Golf Club join Parry in second spot, but Fife stays 2 clear in his bid to be Glasgow's second winner in as many weeks after Conor O'Neill's triumph at Donington Grove.
It was an incredibly emotional and popular victory last week at Donington Grove for Conor O'Neill, and I'm catching up with Conor now. Conor, it's been an incredible last year for you. You've gone through so much. Just sum up for us now, a week on, what that victory meant to you and your family.
Yeah, I mean, I think it was all bittersweet in a sense. It was a bit high of winning, but I think, you know, not being able to share it with my biggest supporter in a sense, and in fact, and so I've enjoyed it as much as I can, but then there's still that element of, you know, wishing you could see it and maybe trying to have some belief that somehow he is getting to see it, you know.
Obviously, for people that don't know your story, unfortunately, your father and your uncle committed suicide in the past 12 months.
Yeah.
Just tell us what you've been through and where golf has even fitted into that.
Yeah, I mean, obviously with the pandemic, with, you know, golf being shut down and tournaments being cancelled last year, to start with, it was already a pretty difficult thing. So golf was a bit of a crossroads for me and probably many others. We've done a lot of coaching as well, which has kept me busy. It's kept me quite enjoy the fact that I'm helping people in a sense, you know, because you almost act like a bit of a counsellor for people sometimes in there, because they're not always coming to you with golf stuff, believe it or not, and they're, especially when they know what I've gone through. I've found a lot of people have been reaching out to me, and I've been doing lessons for people for free if they're struggling with mental health. And so, you know, I've tried to take golf as least seriously as possible, if that makes sense, and I think it's helped me get over the line eventually, to be honest.
How important is it for people just to talk about their mental health?
Yeah, I mean, as I say, like with the coaching, I've had people talking to me about that stuff when all they've been doing is bottling it up, you know. And I think golf and playing with your friends and the whole thing of golf, it gives people a good opportunity to talk to each other about their feelings, you know. I think that, you know, for men and women, it's a great social thing, and if you're ever going to open up, it's going to be during, you know, the outside and during, you know, a game of golf.
And just how instrumental was your father in getting you to where you are today, a EuroPro Tour winner?
Yeah, I mean, like for all my family, he was an unbelievable dad, and he sacrificed a lot of his own career to ferry us about sports events, and he's always going to be influential whether he's here or not.
You've got the win, the first one under your belt early in the season. How does that change your outlook for the rest of the year now? What are the goals?
I think the goals are just to stay aggressive and keep playing, you know, like I've had quite a lot of top fives over the years, but essentially with the prize money so top heavy, you need to win. So I think my goal is just even more so just stay aggressive and shoot as low as you can, and you know, if you don't, then there's always next week.
Well done, Connor O'Neill. Not so well done, John Parry on this second hole. Not inside, but he is up there. Take my word for it. Playing his approach to the second. Hardy spectators, Gary.
They are. They're very hardy, hiding under umbrellas and everything. So here we have Joe Retford, the amateur. His tee shot on the third. Nice balance, pushing it forward, just down the hill, safely to the middle of the green.
Well, he can't complain about a lack of local knowledge. This is his home course. He's a biology major at Virginia Commonwealth University in Richmond.
I think it's fantastic. Great players and great education as we look at Rutherford here. That's a good shot, just checked up a bit, but good chance there in a second.
Now after that uncharacteristically errant drive, Parry's still got quite a ways to go to get onto this second green. And still not finding the surface.
A very tricky pin there set today, that back right hand tongue. So having seen Retford's tee shot, as Phil says, he'll know the line of this one. Oh, I don't think the line really mattered. It went in like rats and drain pipes spring to mind.
Whenever I see a putt like that, I always think about Tony Jacklin when he won the US Open at Hazeltine in 1970. Ninth green, hit one that was going miles past, jumped up, went in. Won it by a mile in the end.
Yeah, he did. And can Parry saving it? Oh, no, it's he's going to be giving one away.
Oh, just about enough room to make a stance, but the ball well below his feet.
Right, mate.
That doesn't look much, but it's a really good escape.
Rutherford, his par putt into this tongue. Just a little tiny bit of movement. Not easy to read from the back here. No. Read too much into it.
Another look at Redford. This is his 4th appearance in this tournament. He's missed the cut on the first 3 occasions. So this a vast improvement. But that leaves a tricky up and down.
Callum Fife. This 7-8 footer for his par. Nicely done. A couple of pars, moving on his way atop the leaderboard.
Now, having found that sand and that really awkward spot off the tee, if Jack Ewell could make a par here, that would be a massive bonus. Unlikely after that, though.
This was probably just a misjudgment of club here. One too many. And then got the club snagged in the grass, making rather hard work of it.
Rutherford opened up with rounds of 65 and 67. I'll tell you what, could he possibly repeat what he did here in 2019? Tied 8th with a closing 65. A 65 today, Gary, and his name might be on the trophy.
Yeah, under these conditions, you're absolutely right, Phil. So the battle goes on here. This Retford's 4th shot, and as you could see, on the move, very early, always a bit left.
Now Rutherford knows what it takes to win on the EuroPro Tour. He did so around the Priestman course at Slaley Hall in Northumberland in 2015. Birdie, bogey, birdie start.
Jack Ewell. This to only drop 1 shot. You always feel robbed, but very often when they go like that, they're never quite in the centre of the cup.
It's 5 by 2 from Rutherford, with Parry, who steadied the ship with a par at the 3rd, now sharing 3rd. You know, at the season-opening IFX Championship, Nick Poppleton had only 1 player above him. This week, though, he's been looking down on everyone.
So we've decided to give the golf course a miss just for the minute. We're here instead at Great Western Air Sports. I'm here with Nick Poppleton, who's about to go up in one of them microlights. Firstly, I want to find out a little bit about yourself. Firstly, how are you feeling?
Yeah, feeling fine. I've not been in a microlight before, and not really been anything up in the air other than in a plane, so it'll be interesting. See if I can, be nice to see Bath from a different view.
Of course, and a bit of a disclaimer, are you scared of heights?
I'm not, but well, I might be. And
you seem a little bit nervous, Nick.
Yeah, but the guy that's driving it, I'm sure, is very good, so I'm sure I'll be fine.
Well, let's talk a little bit about your golf. So you finished 2nd at the opening event of the season, so not a bad start.
Yeah,
really.
no, it was nice. It was nice to find my feet early. It was nice to play some good stuff and you know, really carry form on from last year. It was a tough year for everyone. Anyone playing professional golf to actually get events to play in was hard. So. Much more harder in the north, I think, more than in the south. There's quite a few good tours. There's 2020 and 1836, but not so much in the north. And I played nice last year, so it was nice to carry it on early doors.
And as well as delivering on the golf course, I believe you deliver for Iceland, don't you, off the golf course?
I did quite a bit in the second lockdown when obviously we weren't golfing as much. I wasn't allowed to play the course, so just keeps me ticking along and keeps them happy because they struggle for drivers.
And before your professional career, you had a pretty solid amateur career, didn't you?
Yeah, I played amateur golf for quite a while. I went to university, did a degree and played a little bit alongside that, and then decided after that I was going to play a bit. Got in the England squad 2 years later. It was a sort of long 2 years, and then won the Brad, played for GB, and I played for Great Britain, which is and England, which is probably the best. You know, when your national anthem comes on, it's probably the best sort of feeling you could have, I think, as any athlete.
And what are your ambitions for the rest of 2021?
Just really to play well. You know, I'd like to win, but as long as I can play well and you know, enjoy myself along the way, that'd be good. Getting contention as many times as I can is great, and then see where you are from there. And then, you know, you're lost in the playoff at the first one, but Jan played some good golf all week, so did I. So just to be in contention as many times as possible is the key. I'm not a big heights man, but that is good. Yeah, I did enjoy that actually.
From a pro back down to earth to a couple of dreamers with the Cumberwell Park Championship Trophy. Welcome back everyone to Cumberwell Park, where an elite sportsman from another field entirely is in the field.
I'm here with former England international rugby player and Cumberwell Park member Matt Banahan. Matt, you're a very good golfer and you're teeing it up this week. You've played your first round. How did you find it out there?
Yeah, it's tougher than I thought, but it puts a new perspective on what I think about these boys playing each week. We're very easy to be critical of people on their scores because we think the course plays exactly how we play as members week to week. But it's a lot tougher out there, faster greens, narrow fairways, and you're off the back peg. So I'm quite happy when you think about it. 8 overs, not too bad with 3 mistakes, but just trying to improve that today.
You literally just retired from your rugby career. You were a hero at Bath and Gloucester, got those England caps as well. What were the highlights for you?
I think being a kid from Jersey, just having the opportunity to become a professional was the first one. Being the first professional rugby player to come out of there, and then making my debut for Bath was a massive thing. And within 4 years after that, I was very fortunate enough to play against Argentina at Old Trafford on my debut for England. And they were sort of 2 massive parts for me because as a child, you always want to be a sportsman, a doctor. And I was very lucky that I said I wanted to be a sportsman. I didn't know what I'd wanted to be. My dad played high level of hockey and my mum was an athlete. So I was very lucky to be all-rounded and to be able to walk away from the sport uninjured without any injuries that will sort of hurt me in later life and keep me on the golf course. I'm happy.
What can you take from having got to an elite level in one sport and help you to play good golf?
I think in rugby is that when you make a mistake, you have to drop it there and then. You can't hold the frustration or the anger because you might have to have an act in the next 15, 20 seconds. So in golf, you've probably sometimes got 5-10 minutes between shots. So having the ability to hit a bad shot but forget about it and focus on the next one, I think helped me massively yesterday because I could have easily got very frustrated. But at the end of the day, I know I got 18 holes today to try and improve on my score yesterday. So my only goal today is to try and beat my score from yesterday. Yeah,
how much are you enjoying this experience so quickly after stepping away from rugby? Something else to focus on? Yeah,
it's a massive thing to focus on because being a home club and the ability, Matt James and his greenkeeper staff, this course that they've set up is amazing. It's such a good test of golf, and I think the way the pins have been on the first 2 days, it's only going to get more and more difficult for the boys who are kicking on into Friday. So the experience is one I'll love, and it's one that I can tick off that I've played in a professional event as an amateur. Obviously didn't make the cut, but I'm happy that I've been here. I've had the opportunity to experience what these boys do week in, week out.
Absolutely superb. Matt, it's been great to have you here and to chat. Let's get back out onto the course with our commentary team.
Banahan did improve with a second round 74, so well done to him. And another Cumberwell member, Joe Redford, has made par on the 5th to remain in a 3-way share of 3rd. Jamie Rutherford is chief chaser, but leading by 2, it's the overnight leader, Callum Fife.
And here is Callum Fife from the semi-rough here on the 4th. Got a good contact on that, chasing it forward. Come on, a little bit more. Yeah, not bad. Be chipping up the green in a second. Now, Jamie Rutherford's second on the 4th also. Right. Thought at first it was going to give it a very kindly kick. It's an interesting swing. It almost gets an extra little bit of wrist break at the top of his backswing there, Rutherford.
Five's been a birdie machine so far this week. 8 birdies in his opening 65. 7 in a bogey-free 64. But here, staring at the possibility of a bogey on 4.
8th hole, Tom Sloman's birdie attempt. Up and across the green. Good go from long range. Worth a rueful smile.
Now the neat and tidy Rutherford. And they're all being caught out by that particular shot, all leaving it short.
Yeah, I think you can only put it down. This course is quite fast running, and the first couple of days the greens have been quick. With this water on, it's just fooling them a little bit. And what can Jack Newell do here now? His second shot on the 6th. Got a good contact. Oh, it's a fine shot. A little bit unlucky just to dig in and run to the fringe.
Former Scottish boys champion Callum Fife from Corder Golf Club. Just a wee bit low.
Sean Towndrow. This birdie attempt, yeah, nicely curls it in. Moves himself to 7 under. Making a little amends for mistakes earlier.
Well, he's just seen Callum Fife do exactly the same, and Rutherford follows suit.
You bobbled quite a lot as it came up over. I think he had a good line, but the jumps made it look horribly short. Still quite a swing, as you can see on this. Just over borrowed here. Big swing, which there are on a lot of these Cumberwell greens. There's some tricky pins, and we're gonna see a few big swings before the day's finished.
It's been a while since he made a bogey. The thing now is not to dwell and just to take stock. Despite recording his first bogey for 25 holes, Fife safeguards a 2-shot buffer zone over 4 golfers tied second. The 2 Joes, Brooks and Redford, John Parry and Rutherford, who's already dropped a shot on the hole he's now tackling, the 5th.
And there he is, tucked in under the trees. Got a good contact, and he's scuttling it forward. Will it quite reach the front of the green? No, but pretty good. He's got plenty of green to work with to chip the ball up from there.
Callum Fife made a sensational start to the season. You could say a day early. He won the Pro-Am at Harleford with a 64. Then he went on to miss the cut, would you believe? Tied 48th at Donington Grove, but that approach just underlines how well he's played this week.
John Parry, his second shot on the 5th, taking a high towering approach with a great result. That should be converted in a few seconds. Lofted club, beautiful contact there. Club, ball, turf, really controlling the spin.
Below the level of the green, Rutherford. And that might have been a reaction to what he did on the previous green where he left his chip short.
Yeah, I think that was a good call, Phil. Joe Brooks, his birdie putt now. This par 3/8. Good effort. just a second, I'm sure. So, not standing on anybody's line. Tied it up nicely.
Not the weather you expect, is it, for a tournament that's being staged 3 days before the official arrival of summer?
No, this summer's turning into a bit curate's egg for all sorts of reasons. Rutherford there. And just not borrowing quite enough.
So as it stands, this for a 3-shot advantage. Well done indeed. A bounce back. Bogey on 4, birdie on 5. Wasn't quite sure it was going to make the journey, but it just about went in.
And this little one, after a wonderful approach from Parry, improves his score.
Rutherford plunges 4 off the pace with his bogey. Parry's stock has risen, but in terms of the situation at the top, it's as you were when they teed off. Fife leads by 2. That's the conventional stuff. Now here's Gabby with something more left field.
We're here at the feature goal here at Cumberwell Park, and today we're going to play forfeit golf. Time to introduce some of our players.
Rhys Thompson, I've come from Newcastle.
Brandon Robinson Thompson, I'm from the Isle of Wight.
Thomas Blum from a little town called Yeovil, not far from here, just down the road, yeah.
We have 3 forfeits in here, and then you have 3 chances. Whoever's closest to the pin will win the big prize. The biggest prize in golf actually right now, so...
Blindfolded.
Blindfolded.
All right, one-handed. I'm not going to reach the green.
Using a putter.
So who's going to go first?
Sure.
OK, let's go. Time to play some forfeit golf. There we go.
I did a great shot.
It's on the green, isn't it?
I think you hit that better with one hand than you do with 2.
Oh.
In the drink.
Did you hear that? Splash.
Thirsty.
Oh! Luckily, those balls are going to be reimbursed.
Can someone tell me if I'm actually lined up to it?
Get in the hole.
Can't even see it.
It just missed the green, 20 yards left.
Our advice to you would probably be to go right.
Got no idea.
Oh, we're dancing.
Come on, I've got to beat Brandon. What?
Well done, not bad.
Thank you.
OK.
Oh, mate, that was good. You flagged it. Just donating balls to Cumberwell.
There's a lot on the line here. Thank you so much, guys, for taking part. You've been all great sports, some better than others. But the prize, in fact, goes to Brandon. So round of applause to you. This is the fantastic prize that you will receive.
Thank you very much.
Don't be jealous, guys. Who will you be donating this prize to?
This little baby's going to my little baby, my fiancée.
Oh, I thought you were going to say your baby, but there we go.
No babies yet.
A ray of sunshine on a rainy day. Back to the serious stuff after these. Cumberwell Park Golf Club, in the heart of the Wiltshire countryside, showcasing nature in all of its glory. In these peaceful, rural surroundings, there's an abundance of wildlife, highlighting the best of the West Country, captured by local photographer Andy Rouse.
I'm here with wildlife photographer Andy Rouse. How are you, Andy?
I'm good. Sorry about the lack of sun.
No problem. You bring all the brightness here anyway. Start by telling us a little bit about yourself.
Okay, so I'm a professional wildlife photographer. Been professional for 22 years. When I first started, I have hair, which I don't have now, and I'm fortunate enough to work in amazing places like Cumberwell Park. I just love being here.
And you've won loads of awards as well, over 24. So
I've
tell us
won
a bit about
awards in the BBC Wildlife Photographer of the Year, the European Wildlife Photographer of the Year, the American Wildlife Photographer of the Year. I haven't got a Blue Peter badge. I won the Royal Geographical Society Award for services to wildlife photography, because I promote photography and nature together as a benefit to mental health. So, which it is, and it's just great to be out in nature listening to the birds and the bees.
You've obviously been in loads of beautiful places around the world, but what's your association here with Cumberwell? Like, what brings you over here?
Well, I was invited on here last year by some mutual friends that do owl conservation on here, because they said this is the most amazing place for conservation. And the first time I came round here with Matt, I was like, this is incredible, you know. And so ever since then, I've been coming onto this golf course. It's my #1 site to come. It's just fantastic. There's always wildlife happening here during the day. Yesterday I saw a green woodpecker on one of the middle of the greens pecking and feeding its young. Not the best thing for the greens, but you know, it's great that it shows the amazing wildlife that's here. It's fantastic.
Have you got any tips for any budding photographers or wildlife photographers who are looking to get into it?
Yeah, there's only one type of good light, and that's first thing in the morning and last thing at night. So I know it's hard. You know, you've got to get up for the first 2 hours of sunrise and the last 2 hours of sunset. That's the best light to photograph in. It's when all the animals and birds and whatever are the most active, okay? The second thing is concentrate on one species only. Don't try and photograph everything. Pick a project that you can do easily near your home. I've done lots of bees in my garden, for example. And don't listen to what anyone else says. If anyone else criticises you on social media, just ignore them, yeah? Just go your own way, be confident in what you do.
Wonderful. And that also applies to the standard of golf on display in the Cumberwell Park Championship, where amateur Joe Redford is in the title picture. Leaderboard regular John Parry occupies second, but out in front by 2, it's Callum Fife.
And here is Callum Fife. His second shot on the 6, while the rain still tipples down. Again, playing from just off the fairway, where you're not going to get as much control, and certainly we've lost a bit of control there. May have just clattered through that bushy tree. We shall see. Here you can see as it took off there, the club face was just a little bit open.
Tom Sloman keeping a clean card thus far. A birdie on 7, the rest pars. A player of real pedigree who turned professional in September 2019.
Joe Redford. This birdie putt, 15 feet or so. And another one mirroring so much of what we've seen today. Good line, damp greens, pull it up quicker than they think.
John Parry, 5 top 10s a couple of seasons ago before the tour was suspended for COVID-19, and already 2 out of 2 this season. He's always there or thereabouts.
He really is Mr. Consistency on this tour. Tom Sloman. Can he convert this for his birdie? There it is, right in the jaws. No idea, but taps in for his par. Stays at 9 under. So back to Callum Fife, who did clatter his way through that bushy tree and has then executed a pretty good pitch there. So chances.
Ditto here. Now Joe Brooks has already made a birdie on 9 this week. Oh, just denied a double. So when he taps in, he will remain at 10 under par. And on the short par 4 10th, just ahead, Tom Sloman has got the opportunity to join him there.
Which he duly takes. That's good. Short, almost drivable, but dangerous. Par 4 10th hole to start the back nine.
So back to Fife's troubles on 6. This for a fighting par. Not flawless today, but tenacious.
So let's have a look at the par 5 9th hole. Slight dogleg from right to left. Pretty flat hole, apart from various humps and hollows that you can see. The bunkers that we've just gone past don't really affect these players. It's massively long at 606 yards, but because of the flatness, even in the rain, I think the players are going to get close in 2. So watch out for birdies and maybe eagles.
Yeah, lengthiest hole on the course, but that's not prevented Joe Redford from making birdies on both of the first 2 days. The ball just getting snagged up there slightly, but nevertheless, a real chance to make the hat-trick.
Now Tom Sloman, his second shot on the par 5 11th. Almost, as you can see, pitched it in the hole.
And it wasn't only Callum Fife who was struggling on 6. So too Parry. And 1 goes. Second bogey of the round. Also fell foul of the second hole.
Redford, where he saw his second shot get caught up in the grass, taking a very lofted aerial route and landing it on a sixpence, and it stopped on the sixpence.
Rutherford, well, that will boost his spirits, no doubt. After bogeys on 2, 4 and 5.
Sloman, where we saw his pitch spin back to the edge of the green. Very comfortable birdie, but he'll be a touch disappointed.
Now this young man would be a very popular winner indeed. Oh. The stroke seemed okay, and even though he knows these greens inside out, maybe it was just a misread.
John Parry then, this one to get out with a bogey. Yep.
Parry slips to tied 4th. Sloman and Brooks are now heading the pursuit, but Fife's hanging tough at a venue where John Jacobs is the head pro, and our next guest on Zoom, James Edwards, has designed a state-of-the-art short game area.
Traditionally, we've always had a range where you can knock balls and learn how to play the game that way. We've never ever considered short game academies as being important in the overall facility infrastructure. The thing I'm trying to reverse engineer into all our clubs up and down the country and worldwide are facilities for short game that can just be put beautifully in place. It is an important piece of architecture, and it is architecture, even if it's in the academy arena. Now I see some of the world's best golfers coming across and practicing on it, and using it to improve their own ability, let alone the member who uses it on a daily basis just to improve their technique. It's great to see this huge disparity in golfing talent using essentially a 3-acre piece of grass.
Well, I'm here with John Jacobs, who's the head pro here at Cumberwell Park. It's nice to have you here. Thank you for having me here as well.
Pleasure.
Tell me a little bit about your role.
So, I've been very fortunate. I've been here since it opened, so to see the changes that have happened at Cumberwell have been amazing. And I've just seen it sort of grow and grow, and the family have been investing so much into it. When I got here, literally it was just a few greens and no clubhouse, and now we've got probably one of the finest facilities in the southwest. So.
Well, on the subject of that, it's one of the finest facilities for short game as well.
Yeah.
Why is that?
Well, because I think, again, the team, the family decided to put in probably one of the finest, as you say, short game areas. And this is partly because we felt that it was something that the members were missing. And it also then attracted so much in terms of the high level coaching and teams that we have here. So it just added to what we could offer. It's been designed by James Edwards, JED Design. And also Charlie James, one of the owner's sons as well, had a huge input into that, and also Matt as well. So as a team effort, they really came up with probably, as I say, one of the finest areas that we've got.
So John, for the people at home who might not know what short game is, can you give me a brief explanation?
Yeah, well, it almost sounds as though it's sort of two different sections, but the whole game is a part of one. If that makes sense in terms of it's blended, but the short game makes up a large proportion of the game. So 40%, just over 40% of the game is putting alone. And then 50% of the game is within 15 yards of the hole. So if you're only on the driving range hitting balls thinking you're getting better, you're only actually practicing half the game. So you need to proportionately spend your time evenly across the two. And what short game can really do is it can save a bad score and it can make a good score. Its importance is vital, really, in players' improvement.
Of course, and could you break it down into perhaps 3 fundamentals of short game then?
Yeah, I think it's the same old stuff, really, because it's been sort of churning around for a long time, but you can't really have a good short game without a good hold. So you've got to learn to hold the club properly, because the club face control is essential in short game, and it's so varied, so you need that ability to do that. You need to believe that the loft of the club will do the work for you, so you don't go in and try and manipulate that loft, which a lot of people tend to do. And then really for me, it's all about rhythm and timing. So it's not about beating balls and hitting lots and lots of like aggressive shots. It's a touch game. The game's a lot softer, so you need to sort of always bring that part of the game into it for your improvement, really.
Wise words, and I can tell you short game skill played a major part in Joe Brooks birdieing the 10th. He's moved to 11 under par. 2 behind this fellow, the leader, Callum Fife, tackling the 7th.
Just coming into this short par 4, throwing the ball forward, Retford. Nice shot, well judged. Played a sensible iron off the tee for position so that he could really attack that pin.
Now here's Brooks, looking for back-to-back birdies. Might be something better, maybe. An eagle.
Back to the 7th tee, and John Parry looking down into this pretty little hole, nestling water on the left. And another good shot there, powered in. Good chance for birdies.
Now Retford looking to go 1 under the card on 10. He won the West of England Championship in 2019, but competing with distinction at this level is definitely, Gary, a step up the ladder.
Yeah, no, it is. Winning the West of England is good, but the standard on this tour improves every single year as we look at Sloman. Yeah, nice touch. Little bit of work to do though. We'll be coming straight up that slight slope in a minute.
Now, there shouldn't be too much of a bother to get up and down. in front. Every shot can be a trial.
Yeah, there we go. Sloman tickling in that little one. Makes his birdie.
Now we've seen 29 eagles on this hole this week. Is Brooks about to account for the 30th? This for a share of the lead. Has to settle for a birdie. So back-to-back birdies for the man who had back-to-back second place finishes in 2018 on this tour at Studley Wood and Montrose.
As we rejoin John Parry, this good opportunity here on the 7th. Firm just inside the edge of the right side of the hole and nicely disappears. Moving in the right direction. Goes to 11 under.
So Sloman and Brooks are 12 under. It means Fife has to hole this to retain the lead. He's rain up top, Gary. At least sole possession of the lead is over. For now, at least.
Yeah, amazing how quickly things can change as we see Sloman's ball falling into the front of the hole there. He goes to 13 under.
Yes, contrasting fortunes for Sloman, and Fife finally brings a change of personnel at the top. And Parry is still very much a threat, only 2 off the pace. Before the round, Kit caught up with the super consistent Yorkshireman.
John, 9th and 7th in the first 2 events of this year. How do you assess things so far?
It's been good. It sort of shows the things I've been working on, obviously, through lockdown. I've paid off. I still feel like I can tweak a few things to get a little bit better, so hopefully they'll pay off this week.
Mm-hmm. What are those areas you're looking to improve?
Well, looking at the first 2 tournaments I'm putting, on the last week I didn't put well at all. But obviously shows that I'm doing a lot of good stuff to still have a chance of winning, so I know I just need to, sometimes you have a streaky week and you put well, but obviously I want to make it, I don't want to become a streaky, but I want to be more consistent so I can get a few more wins.
When we spoke at Harleyford, you said the missing piece to getting the win was making a faster start. You were playing catch-up a lot of the time. You certainly did that this week. How pleased were you to be
Yeah, that is a pleasing thing, yeah. And I think even last week as well, like 3 under for that tournament was a decent start. So I always felt like I was in the game. Then you don't feel like you're chasing and having to push and take silly shots on, especially with it being 3 rounds. Your second round, if you're too far back going into the last round, there's so many good guys out here, it's too much to catch up.
Yeah, you've played a lot of 4-round golf from your years and years of experience on the European Tour. How different is it just taking away that extra 18 holes?
It's weird because it's obviously, personally I feel like it's harder over 4 days to be consistent. And it's only 1 extra day, so it doesn't sound much. But in this, if you don't get off to a good, you're under more pressure to get off to a good start in these because you can almost be done after 1 round if you're not careful.
Mm-hmm. And what's the key to putting a good score together around this Cumberwell Park?
I think it's going on the first 2 days, it's driving the ball. The greens are soft and obviously going to be softer today, but obviously once you start hitting to the rough, it's a bit of a guessing game how it's going to come out. So I've drove it well the first 2 days, so hopefully the same again today.
Parry's right there, but this man, Tom Sloman, now leads the Cumberwell Park Championship. Masterful drone work in Wiltshire, providing never-before-seen perspective. The closing round of the Cumberwell Park Championship is delicately poised, with Tom Sloman in pole position, looking for his breakthrough title on the EuroPro Tour. But lurking only 2 back is dangerous, in form John Parry, who's arrived, together with Kit, on the 8th.
John Parry's putter has been doing most of the work for him today, but the driver has well and truly come to the party here on the 8th. It's an aggressive play off of this tee, and he has absolutely munched one straight down the middle into what you can see is a very narrow piece of fairway, but that has really opened up that pin behind me. Just 115 yards, so he can take this on. He's been hitting his wedges pretty close. A little backstop behind that pin as well. I'm expecting to see another short effort for birdie after this approach.
Indeed, that really is a very aggressive tee shot, because it is narrow down there. But if you can get it in to that spot, you get a great opportunity. Oh, and that's a magnificent shot. I think we'll see more birdies coming in a second.
Now, the easiest hole on the course by average score is the 11th. 491, very friendly par 5, but Joe Redford is making a meal of it. That's his 4th shot. His chances could go here.
Joe Brooks, his 3rd shot from just in front of this par 5 12th. Yeah, nicely controlled.
Back on 11 for Redford, it's all about just accepting what's happened, trying to limit the damage. Again though, not an even stance, ball below his feet. And staring a double bogey squarely in the face.
Callum Fife now is his 3rd shot on the 8th. Obviously had a little bit of trouble on the hole, but a chance.
Brooks for a trio of birdies. No, always tentative, always low. That will annoy him. The man who started the season tied 9th at Harleford, then missed the cut at Donington Grove.
Joe Redford, after his earlier woes, can he at least get out with a bogey? No, sadly he can't. And that's going to take him to 9 under in a second.
And talking of woes, a man going in the incorrect direction, Callum Fife. Oh, the game kicks you when you're going not quite correctly. That's 3 bogeys against just a single birdie today. The overnight leader slipping away.
So just to get out of here. Very frustrating double bogey.
Now Parry to get within 1 of the lead. Well done. Now well ahead on 15 is leader Tom Sloman, about to begin a testing closing stretch that Gabby and Kit dissected earlier.
So Kit, we're on the 15th green here, one of the most picturesque parts, I'd say, of the course. Would you say this is the most challenging?
Yeah, I mean, beautiful here, but brutal. It's 480 yards, a par 4. That's a long old slog and a difficult green when you get there as well. The players, if they can get off of that hole with a par, they will be more than happy. And then you come to the 16th, which we can see behind us, the elevated par 3. You've got the whole of the Wiltshire countryside out in front of you. Absolutely stunning, but a tricky tee shot to gauge. It's downhill. If the wind's blowing, getting the clubbing is right, because you know that pin is going to be tucked away just near the water, just over that bunker, potentially in the final round. If you're chasing, you've got a decision to make. Do I take dead aim at it, risk bringing that water into play, or play it safe to the middle of the green? Then, of course, the 17th, it's a drivable par 4, the chance to set up an eagle. And if you have got shots to make up, this is where you put your foot on the accelerator. How you play these few holes, well, that's going to decide where the trophy's going.
Certainly. Well, let's see how the leaders get on with these.
This 15th, brutal, toughest hole on the course. Fewest number of birdies, most number of double bogeys. But Sloman's drive is in the mayor's office. And his second shot is not too shabby either, Gary.
Oh, fantastic shot there. Back to 9. John Parry's approach to this par 5 green. Yes, he's really going for it. Though a little further back than some, he's going to have a chance of a birdie putt in a second as we watch Sloman's birdie attempt. Oh. Yeah, you can see from the action he thought it was going to just break a whisker left to right. Can't believe it.
Deep down though, satisfied in many respects with a par.
Yeah, with how brutal the hole is, par's always good. Callum Fife. Chip again out of some thick grass. Well, at least we're going to have a steadying par for him.
Only 3 par 5s here, and they come within the space of 4 holes. John Parry just starting that stretch. Can he start it with a birdie? He thought it was in, you know. A case of the knees. It means Sloman is still to be caught, with Welsh prospect Jack Davidson having set the early clubhouse mark with his impressive 65. As for Fife and Parry, they're about to start the back 9 with ground to make up.
I really like this 10th hole. It's very short, but it really asks you, what are you going to do? Play a 5-iron or something down to the left side of the fairway, or are you going to take some bigger club and get it really close to the green?
Like that short par 4 at Riviera, the 10th.
Yeah, it is. It's I love it. I love holes like this. So, Callum Fife. He too looks as though he's going for the route of put it into position. A little bit like the 10th at the Belfry. You know, do you whack at the green or do you put it in there and pitch over the water?
One of the great course designers of modern times, Tom Weiskopf, is a great advocate for drivable par 4s, at least one on every course, and I totally agree.
Me too, I love it. Joe Brooks coming up just shy, as you can see there on the 13th. Par 3 paying 196 today.
Now Parry has been conservative off the 10th tee. Will his decision be vindicated? More than likely, yes.
Having seen that one nestle by the pin, Fife would like to emulate it. My goodness. That really, I have to say, is not very good with a very short iron.
No, it's a round that's unravelling, unfortunately. Brooks short right on the par 3, but could still walk off with a par and remain only 1 adrift.
So Fife with not a lot of green to work with. Good effort, almost jammed it in the hole on its second bounce. But fighting for a par is not what you want on this very short 10th hole.
And fighting for a par is what Tom Sloman's doing on 16. thought it would break, and it didn't, just run out of pace. And so he falls back to 12 under, keeping a smile on his face, more like a grimace there, and it means that Parry's putt on 10 is to take the lead.
And there isn't much on this one, Phil, just right of centre, methinks. Yeah, nicely done. And Parry moves to 13 under, atop the board.
Now this is an important putt for Joe Brooks. Nicely done. Hold that with authority.
So here we have Callum Fife, this 4 and a bit footer, must get this. No. As you said, Phil, it's all unravelling as Fife drops back to 10 under the card.
That's his 4th bogey today. Last week at Donington Grove, we had multiple leaders during the decisive 18, and we've had 3 here. Fife, Sloman, and now Parry, who takes over at the top. Even so, this former European Tour winner is far too experienced to get carried away. The story at Cumberwell Park continues in just a moment. They say if you keep knocking on the door, it will eventually open. John Parry's keen for that to be true, as a player who's been so close so often to capturing a title on the EuroPro Tour finds himself on top of the pile at Cumberwell Park. As for Callum Fife, he badly needs a shift in momentum.
It's been a sticky patch for Callum Fife. Our overnight leader really needs to make something happen on these scoreable 2 par 5s we've got coming up now. First job is just about done off of the 11th tee. He is over on the left-hand side here, but it's lying pretty nicely. A slight downhill lie. He's got 234 yards, but it plays a good 20 yards downhill. He really needs to make a birdie here. The good news is the weather has improved a little bit warmer, a little bit brighter, and not as much rain.
So here is Callum Fife from the rough. Sound as though he's got a good contact, trying to chase it down the hill. Pretty much level with the pin, but down on the right hand side.
Now John Parry has really sorted out this hole so far. An eagle and a birdie in the first 2 rounds. Nothing spectacular, but on the green in 2, a couple of putts for another birdie.
Now, a look for us at the relatively short 378th yard par 4 14th. Really the big pond comes into play off the tee if you take the driver, so these players will be playing a long iron up in front of that, and then it's all about getting a good yardage to find the pin on that interesting shaped green.
So Brooks, that's a very lengthy birdie putt. More likely 2 putts for a par and get out of there quickly.
Back to Callum Fife, where we saw him just missing the green to the right. That looks a good pitch up, which it was, and perhaps just a tad unlucky to pull up so quickly on the 3rd bounce.
Now this to suddenly be 3 in front. Good pace judgment.
That was beautiful judgment. 17th tee, Sloman going with the driver in an attempt to crash one that gets up onto this green. But one of his fellow competitors there, an arm comes out to the right. You can see there an attempt to get tremendous power, just left his weight on the right side, and I think we'll discover that one's missed somewhere down on the right.
3 bogeys in the first 5 holes for Rutherford. After that it was all pars. There though, a much needed birdie.
Joe Brooks with this very long putt up and over the ridge, and as you can see, badly misjudged for the speed.
Callum Fife, who was in the Scottish amateur squad with a certain Bob McIntyre, who's taking the golfing world by storm. All day he's just kept plugging away, and you've got to admire that, even in the face of adversity.
Yeah, tried hard to stick to the task. John Parry. This little one for his birdie. And again, all going rather well for Mr. Parry at the moment as he moves to 14 under.
Now, we suspected Joe Brooks might be in 3-putt country after his approach. Oh, and that's exactly what's transpired.
Callum Fife now on the 12th, his second shot. Good line, just off the fringe of the green.
In contrast, issues for our leader Parry on this hole. This is 4th. And if he could possibly salvage par, Gary, that would give him just as much satisfaction as the birdies that preceded it.
Yeah, absolutely. When you've made a move forward and then you get a bit of a setback, you don't want to let it go. And here we see Sam Broadhurst, who's playing very well on the tour this season, on the 18th, finding one of the many fairway bunkers.
So he's 4 under for the round, 12 under in total. Not quite out of this yet, especially with Parry toiling on 12.
Yeah, very good. As we see Callum Fife choosing the aerial route. Yeah, Sam Broadhurst, a little bit unlucky to catch the shoulder of the bunker by the green, but number of tears on this. But can he close out with another birdie and force himself right in the mix? Oh, what a finish. 3-3, that's a wonderful finish for a back nine of 32. Great round of 66. Sam Broadhurst, 12 under, Phil.
Tied 4th at Donington Grove. Could improve on that here.
Fife's big breaking birdie putt. Not able to read it. Yeah, he's stuck to the task. I feel sorry for him really, because he's kept battling and it just hasn't worked today.
When you win on any tour, anywhere in the world, it always seems as though you have to knock in at least one real pressure putt for par. Oh, and Parry has done that there. That will feel like an eagle. It was a par, it will feel like an eagle. Sloman's targeting a birdie on 18 to crank up the pressure. Parry enjoys a 2-shot advantage with just a third of the final round to play, but the new clubhouse leader is Broadhurst, who after signing his card had a chat with Kit.
Sam, final round of 66, how pleased are you with that?
Yeah, obviously before the day then I set a target of around six under, so it was nice. Obviously didn't take into account the conditions because they were quite tough early on. I mean, I wore out my 6 iron to be honest first few holes, but yeah, the putter got hot towards the back nine, and yeah, I'm obviously really happy with the score.
birdie finish as well. Were you keeping an eye on the leaderboard and knowing how important they might be?
Yeah, I mean, I knew where I was all the way through the back nine, to be honest. I was just trying to finish up as high as I can, and obviously if I had a chance to win, then great, but obviously I was 6 back at the start of the day, so I was just trying to shoot as low as I can, really, and see where that got me.
That's the same for Chris Lloyd, a local lad, Gary.
Yes, he is, and he's coming off a birdie on 17th, also from the sand on 18, but not such a good result as we saw from Sam Broadhurst.
Now, we've seen on numerous occasions today, Tom Sloman doesn't lack power, doesn't lack length. But I'll tell you what, there's more to the game than that, and playing out of that bunker onto the green, good effort.
Certainly was. Our leader, second shot, 14th. Again, this pin's difficult to get at, tucked well away behind that bunker.
Now Lloyd, we saw him at Donington Grove last week. I was mentioning that his career has been blighted, and I use that word advisedly, by wrist problems, and it's sad to see him finishing like this.
Callum Fife, who's almost taking it as close as he dare to the water on this 14th. But yeah, it's interesting to me that almost everybody that we've seen has come up half a club short on the 14th.
So from sand to sand to sand. And now Lloyd needs that to avoid what would be a very expensive and galling final hole double bogey.
We've seen this putt a time or two. We know it's slow. Fife looks as though he's given it a good run. Yes, a merry crash, leaving himself a bit from the other side.
Up on 18, Sloman, left to right for the clubhouse lead. And that was never high enough. Never enough juice either.
The tee looking down on this 16th. It is, as Kit and Gabby told us, a very, very attractive spot on this beautiful golf course. Hold on, don't spin too much. Yep, safely aboard the green, and in many ways that's all you want on this tough hole.
Now come on, Chris. What a pity. Tons of Road to Alconada ranking points, and of course cash burned on that last. I'm sure though we're going to see him on plenty of leaderboards as the season unfolds.
Awkward putt this for Parry. He's coming just across the ridge that you can see there, which is never easy to judge. But he's done the line well, and again the speed's just fooled him.
Now Sloman, who was part of the winning England team at the 2019 Home Internationals before turning professional. Banks, a very sizable check, a closing 67, but could the bogey on 16 ultimately prove his undoing?
This is to save par for Fife. Yet another one gone.
From range, Brooks to join a share of second place. Oh, en route, he would have fancied that.
Man of the moment, John Parry. Staying right there. Looks very solid, Phil.
Absolutely. Malaysia's Galvin Green figures on the leaderboard. Broadhurst and Sloman can just sit and wait. That's because Parry is now the master of his own destiny. 2 clear, 4 holes to play in this, the Cumberwell Park Championship. The decisive action from a terrific venue is coming your way after the break. Will it be JP's day? In keeping with a so far gripping EuroPro Tour season, the Cumberwell Park Championship has combined both quality and drama. Sam Broadhurst and Tom Sloman both went low to set the mark, but still out on the course, John Parry enjoys a 2-shot lead. That said, par on 15 is far from certain. A real tough hole, that.
And on that 15th hole, what can Callum Fife do? Middle of the fairway. Got a good contact. This looks like it's homing in. Indeed so. One of the best shots he's played today. Cracker.
Over 100 bogeys recorded on this hole this week, but John Parry so far has had a birdie and a par. Now, is this one leaking slightly? It is. Will the wet grass keep it just outside the trap?
As we jump forward to short 17th, little par 4 that Joe Brooks has obviously taken the green on. Found a gap between the little saplings.
This could be a really important break for Parry here. You think everything's going to come off of here and end up in that bunker, but he's just hung on to this little bit of fringy rough here, and now that's given him a much easier chip shot than he would have had out of the sand. The ball is lying really nicely. He'll perhaps get a little bit of grass between club head and the ball at impact, but he should be able to deal with that. He's been chipping and scrambling really nicely when he needs to. This one shouldn't cause him too many problems.
Yes, this is one of those shots that, you know, if the pressure wasn't on and you were just practicing around the green, these guys about 8 times out of 10 might think they could chip it in. Parry's got it pretty close, so I fancy he'll save his par. Certainly got a good contact on it. Just runs out a fraction more than he thought.
It's been a grim day for Callum Fife in more ways than one. He's golf matching the weather.
Joe Brooks, his birdie putt, following that approach from between the little trees to the right. Running nicely. Just runs out of steam. But he'll tap that one in a second for his par.
So unless Parry implodes, you have to think his title chances might well have gone there.
Indeed so. Now Parry, just to tidy this little one up, no trouble at all.
It's Parry by 2 from Broadhurst and Sloman. 3 holes to play.
John Parry's tee shot on the 16th, maintaining his rhythm, calling on all his experience now. Oh, that's a cracking shot. That really is.
It's the signature hole, Gary, and he could well be putting his signature on the winning scorecard after that.
Yeah, very impressive. Rutherford now. Can he produce something as good? Talking to the ball, telling it to stay there. Yeah, pretty good. Easy swing, as I say, a little bit of extra wrist bend at the top of the backswing.
We've talked about how much we like drivable par fours. I must say I'm also a fan of island greens. One of my favourites would be the 17th at the PGA Stadium course in La Quinta. Alcatraz, they call it. Lee Trevino had a very famous hole-in-one.
Almost as dangerous. I understand nobody ever got out alive, did they, from Alcatraz that tried to escape?
3 may have done. We'll never know. What we do know is that was a quality effort. Superb from Brooks on the closing hole.
Parry coming across the green towards the water. Running very well. If it's got the legs, oh, it has. Ooh. I'm enjoying this.
So is he. A man who was on the Walker Cup team in 2007 with Rory McIlroy and Jonathan Caldwell, who of course a couple of weeks ago won the Scandinavian Mixed in Sweden for his first European Tour title.
Mark more success up to EuroPro Tour.
Yes, our graduates, our former players are going great guns. Now will Joe Brooks tidy this up? Yes, he does. Well done indeed. So he joins Sloman and Broadhurst on 12 under.
Jamie Rutherford's effort up the green. Come on, keep running. Just lacked the legs.
Parry enjoys a 3-shot lead, and there's nothing Broadhurst, Sloman and Brooks can do about it because they have completed their work for the day on 12 under par, and right now it does not look as though it's going to be enough, especially when you consider that Parry is here with his tee shot on 17, targeting another birdie.
And here we see local professional Steve Surrey, been a very experienced player for many seasons, finishing out with a couple of birdies. Solid par round of 71, not what he would have wanted though, but still another solid home performance.
Yes, and he's had some very good results down on the Sunshine Tour. Now 5. Ah, out of darkness cometh light. Finally, something to be pleased about.
Rutherford, can he do similar? Not to be.
I can't imagine that John Parry will race this one.
No, it's one of those that if it topples in, it'll be a bonus, but at this stage, pars are probably going to do the job.
Well, he's won on the Challenge Tour in Toulouse in 2009. He won the Vivendi Cup on the European Tour the following year as a rookie, and now he's looking good here with just this hole to play.
Yes, as we take a look at this 18th, only 374 yards, out of bounds left, quite a climb up to the green, and as you can see, a myriad of bunkers all the way up the right-hand side. really conservatively for Parry, get it on the fairway, try and get the right length into the green, because there are a lot of slopes and it's not an easy green to putt on. I think it's worth said it all there. The bunkers are like magnets here, and many players through the week we've seen in the right hand traps. John Parry, I'm a little bit surprised he's going with the driver. Probably aim it down the left hand side and just let it slide away from the out of bounds. Tees up quickly, he likes it.
And I don't just think he's the champion-elect, Gary. I think he's a really good bet to top the rankings when all is said and done at the end of the campaign.
Wouldn't argue with that, Phil, at all. Rutherford. Fairway wood. Yep, finds the fairway.
John Parry will be enjoying his stroll up the 18th fairway, because with a 3-shot lead and that fantastic tee shot miles down here with driver, he has got probably more than one hand on the trophy. He's just got 72 yards into that pin. His wedge game today has been absolutely sublime. Can he finish it off with a birdie and take that trophy in absolute style?
Well, the biggest birdie maker of the week is this man, Callum Fife. The one we've just seen on 17 was his 19th of the tournament. Just too many mistakes sprinkled in.
Very good. Firm feet, picks the ball off really cleanly, which is what you have to do on a fairway bunker. Good shot. Rutherford now from the fairway. Can he close out with something right by the pin? Yeah, he certainly can. Good shot.
You know, John Parry has twice played in the US Open. He made the cut on both occasions, and in 2013 at Merion, he finished in the top 30. As for today, well, all of that class has come to the fore.
Yeah, such a neat little shot. He walked all the way up to have a look at where the pin is, and the result you saw.
Now can Fife make it? 20 birdies on the week? Afraid not. Tied second at the Nokia Masters in 2019, remains his personal best on the EuroPro Tour.
Jamie Rutherford to close out his week. He'll tap that in for a par. Finishes at 10 under, 5th place.
Yes, and a tie with Fife, but there's no dispute as to who is the king of the hill.
No, this man's been very impressive. Little one down there obviously didn't go in. Interested spectators. Always got a good number of people interested at Cumberwell, lots of people. Well done, John Parry. Beautiful round of 67. Beautifully controlled, came through, deserved winner.
Could not agree more. Class rising to the top. Excellent performance.
John, congratulations. That's a sensational victory. How are you feeling?
Great. I mean, it's been so long. I can't remember last time I won, so it's obviously all them feelings come back when you're down the stretch and sort of feel like you're hanging on or things aren't going your way and just sort of trying to cling on, but trying to use that experience to sort of get yourself over the line.
You were 1 over par through 4 holes today. How important was the patience you spoke about earlier?
Yeah, everything I said to you I didn't really do in the first few holes. I think I was a bit flustered with like the conditions obviously being so much different to what we've had the first 2 days, and then trying to cope with it sounds stupid, but you know, like the umbrella and everything, and I just thought, get rid of the umbrella and just get back into a routine, and that seemed to work.
Great tee shot on 18 as well, that was aggressive.
Yeah, well, I did that all week, and I was looking at it, I was thinking of hitting like a forehand over the first bunker, but then I thought, well, I can hit it 50 yards right, I'd rather do that and be committed to my shot, and it's probably the best shot I hit all day, actually.
Brilliant performance, well played.
Thank you very much.
John Parry prevails by 3 shots, the widest victory margin of the season so far. From a couple of young guns we look sure to see a lot of as the year progresses. Parry's reward, a first prize of £12,500, the satisfaction of a EuroPro Tour success, and leapfrogging Conor O'Neill at the top of the Road to Alcanada Order of Merit. Until next week, when the tour travels north of the border to marvellous Montrose, it's goodbye.